we're going to start with that question. You know, Dave, in a Pew Research Center telephone surveys conducted in 2018 and 2019, 65% of American adults describe themselves as Christians when they talk about religion. And that's down 12 percentage points over the past decade. And currently, 43% of U.S. adults identify with Protestantism, which is down from 51% in 2009. And 1 in 5 adults, so 20% are Catholic, down from 23% in 2009. Meanwhile, all the subsets of the religiously unaffiliated, as we'll call them, that population, this is a growing group known as the nuns. They don't have any claim to any religious affiliation. We've seen their numbers kind of increase and swell. Self-described atheists now account for 4% of U.S. adults, up modestly from a significant from like 2% in 2009. Agnostics make up 5%, up 3% from 10 years ago. And 26% of Americans now describe their religion as, well, nothing in particular, up 12% from 2009. So we're seeing this kind of shift in the tides. And this is a problem, not just for Catholics and for Catholicism. This is Christianity kind of across the board. So why do you think we are seeing such a surge of Christians leave Christianity?
Well, you know, it's interesting that you asked that question, because as I reflect on this a little bit more, I was one of those groups, you know, leaving the church. I became, I wouldn't say I was bordering on atheism, but I was definitely a hard agnostic, and asking those questions and just, you know, is there even a God? Does this even matter if there is one? Yeah. So really, I think that this is a multifaceted problem that doesn't have a really good, easy answer, but I'll try to do my best to entertain your question. You know, this, of course, is op-ed. You know, these are my opinions, but you know, I think that some research can back up what I'm going to say. I think the bottom line, though, is that people don't find Christianity to be relevant to their lives. I think that they look at the Bible as a book instead of looking at it as a library. I think that they look at it as look at the Bible as a collection of stories about things that don't matter. Yeah. You know, they read it, you know, it's famous. Like I'm going to sit down and read the Bible. And so you start with Genesis, and then you get to Leviticus, you get halfway through Leviticus, and it's over, because you read that and you're like, what does this even mean? And I think that's a very common thing, is that people sit and try to read this, and then they come to this conclusion that this stuff just doesn't mean anything to me. You know, so I think that that's a big problem, is that they just don't find it to be relevant at all. Yeah. Yeah. I think I see that as well. You know, people, they have a vision for their life, I guess, that, you know, the Bible's this nice book that, man, it's got some nice things to say, you know, but it's no different than the Quran or than any of the other religious texts or philosophy texts that have really kind of helped man try to figure out what mankind's out about. But Christianity's got kind of a very different approach and outlook on life, I guess, than some of those other world religions. Hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Practical Theism podcast. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to check out the full episode, you can do so by finding it on our YouTube channel. Definitely consider subscribing and ringing that little bell so you can continue to get updates, notifications when we release new episodes and new clips just like this one. I hope to see you soon.